Hi, my name's Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and today we want to look at the PSE Stinger, derailing the bow, and how to fix the problem. So this only applies to the PSE Stinger from 2020 to 2021. In 2020, PSE reduced the axle size of the PSE Stinger from 32 to 30 inches. What this did, it created extra angle on the top string here, and basically if you apply some torque to the riser, the strings pop off the top here. So how do you fix it? Make this problem go away? You may not have this problem, but I know I have lots of dealers who have this problem, and the PSE Stinger is my biggest selling bow. So let's fix it. Let's show you how to fix it. That way, if you've got a problem, you know how to solve it. So the first problem is, why does a bow derail? So most derails are caused through the person gripping the bow like such. So when they pull the bow back, they basically torque the bow. So they do this with their wrist. That is why most people derail the bow. The bow should be held like this so it moves freely in your hand. So it's quite possible that I can shoot a bow and then I give it to a beginner and then they kind of apply pressure and they derail a bow. The other reason why derails occur is the bow's too heavy, and as they're pulling it back, they put pressure on one side of the bow or the other and causes the bow to basically pull off to the side and causes the string to jump off the cam. Again, derailing. So the bow should be light and you don't want to apply any torque to the front of the bow. But with this bow, it's a little bit different. Derailing the PSE Stingers from the prior to 2020 was never a problem for me. I didn't have any. This bow was a problem, so let's address it. Right, so the problem is with the inside, this cable here, the string, you can see this string here, the one on the outside, is pulling across the side, and you can see it doesn't track. So there's the edge of the cam, and here's the string coming off to the side. So that's this string here, off to the side, just there, you can see it coming off, so it doesn't actually sit. It's pulling off to the side here. So there's a couple of things I want to do. The cable guard here, you can see the one which is pulling away, one closest to the string, is basically pulling in. I want to swap this around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unhook the cable slide and put it in the other way. And this is, you can see one of these is deeper than the other. So I'm going to move the deep one forward because I want to reduce the angle on that cable. So it's going to be like so, like that. So this one now is pushing forward. This creates a problem because it causes these cables to rub. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to swap these strings around. So just run it around. Now we need a bow press to do that. I've got a bow press behind me. I'm going to show you how to press the bow. Now the other thing I'm going to do is this cable guard here. So instead of it being up here, I'm going to move it down. So that's going to reduce the angle further on this top cam. So the first thing to do to loosen this off, I'm going to take off the pressure off these strings again. There's an Allen key. It's a Torx. We're going to loosen that and move this rod down. So it looks like that. So it was pointing up, now it's pointing down. The advantage of it pointing down is it reduces the angle, so it puts the string more in the middle, so that's going to reduce the angle straight up. Now we found when we first did that, that didn't take the angle off enough off the top cam. You can see with the strings off, this runs exactly straight down the line. So actually what's causing the problem is this cable guard pulling across. So without the cable guard, string's perfectly in line, no issues. As soon as you pull that cable guard on, that string's pulling across. So I'm going to put that on again. Like so. So pressing a bow, you should ideally wind the bow out. I'm not going to for this video just because it slows the whole process down. You want to press the bow as least as possible. So the more you press the bow, the more pressure you put on these limbs, the more likely are you to splinter the limbs. So you don't want to do this with a portable bow press because it's dangerous, like it can slip off the end. Look, you might get away with it with a portable bow press. I wouldn't, I'd be too scared, but once again, you can do it. I'm not advising you to do it. I'd use a bow press like this, and let's do it. Okay, so I've pressed the bow, so it's just been held in the bow press. I can't get these strings off. There's not enough tension I've applied on the bow to get these strings off. And if you're familiar with pressing bows, then you're probably going, well, I'll skip this part of it. But I have so many dealers who break limbs, and some dealers are going to say, look, you're responding to me. Look, I don't know if it's you or your mates or whatever. I just don't have these problems generally in my own store with limbs breaking. So, and the fact I sell like hundreds and hundreds of these bows, and these limbs are used on every bow literally made today, would suggest that it's just, yeah. So anyway, what I'm saying is be careful when you press. And so I'm going to show you how I press this. So there's a little bit of tension. Now what I want to do is I want to take the pressure. I want to take the pressure on the string. I want to be able to unstring this bow, this string off the bow. So I want to pull it off the string because I can't get access to the cables. I need even more pressure to get access to the cables. So what I want to do is I want to take this pressure off the string. So just a little bit more, and you can see I can get the string off. Now, once the string's off, I just roll the string off to the side. Now I can get access to the cables because this string now rolls. So I've applied that much pressure to the limbs, which is far less than drawing this bow back, to get the cables off. Now all I want to do, I'm going to use the string on the side to get access to it. So I'm going to hopefully get in there. So I'm going to try and get access to this string here. This was the one which runs around the edge. So I take that off and I want to run it around on the inside and then pops around and put it back on. Literally that easy. Now this cam still runs. This cam still flows because it hasn't got the string on. So now I try and put the string on. A little bit at a time. And you can see like the string it's not loose. I'm just using my fingers to get the string up over. So it kind of rolls on like that. So now when you take the pressure off a bow press, I don't know, let's say I put this cable on incorrectly and let's say it's not on the track properly, like I've looked, it looks pretty good to me, but often you make a stuff up. It's just common, people make mistakes. So what I do is I apply a bit of pressure to this string to see if you can see how much pressure I'm applying, just to see if it just pops. Feels pretty good, it all looks good. I'm really careful at this stage because there's a whole bunch of pressure on this bow. So we're just going to wind it back slowly. You can see I'm still applying the pressure here to make sure it's all okay. I'm just going to put the cables back on like such. There's a bit more tension here. It's just going to, I'm always really careful. I've been doing this for 40 odd years. I feel like it's 40 years. And you know, at this point there is some bows which, you know, go bang, and it's like, so when you've got it off, check the string is all on all the way around. You can see here it's not. See here, I didn't put it on correctly. Now I'm going to put that back on the bow press and fix that up. Now if I'd pulled that bow back, in this case it would be okay because it's actually pulling off the cam, so it'd actually be okay. It'd make a clud and it would have been fine, but I'm just going to put that back on. So all I'm saying is check it. Don't apply too much pressure on the bow. Check this cable here, make sure it's around this little loop. Sometimes it comes off when you press it. Now I want to show you the angle on this cable now. So from the top you can see it's running straight down this wheel. Before it was off to the side like so. You can see now it's pretty much in line with it. Now from the back, that's square. You can see this cable's still off, but it's not off enough to cause a derail. So when I sell a bow in the shop, and generally when I send them out wholesale, I make this alteration. So most people will have this done when it leaves my store. Now there's occasionally when one of these bows will be sent out by one of my staff who haven't made this change, and then the dealer will get it and then they're like, well, what do I do to fix it up? So this is what this video is about, how to fix it up. When I've made this change, I have had no derails, none. So it's not saying that I shouldn't or won't. When I've made this change, I've had no derails. If I would, it would be going back to the grip or the bow's too heavy. But I've had no derails once I've made this change. Now you could make this change to older models of the single cam bows to reduce the angle on the top as well. You can see the cables are actually closer than before. Let's just see. You can see there's a gap. So there's a gap between the cables, so it's not going to be any wear. It's not as great as it was when the cable's the other way around. So it's a greater gap the other way around. But for me, I'm trying to reduce the angle on this top cable and get rid of this derail problem. So that's it for a PSE Stinger for 2021. It's the PSE Stinger Max. I'm looking at the name of it because there's been so many Stingers. It's the biggest selling PSE bow in the lineup. Shoots really well if you make this change. Nice and adjustable, are really fast. When I say fast, at a budget price, it shoots really well. Now this change also applies to the 3D Stinger, which is the same bow with a limb stop on the bottom cam. So I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Thanks for watching. Bye.